There was an ownership meeting today, another virtual meeting. They do one every quarter. December's meeting had several topics, the most important of which, from my perspective, whether or not they're going to expand the regular season from 16 games to 17. Now, we all viewed it as a no-brainer because the league specifically negotiated with the union and achieved the ability to expand the regular season as soon as next year. They've wanted to expand the regular season for years. So why wouldn't they expand the regular season now that they have the opportunity to do so? All that said, Commissioner Roger Goodell said on a conference call within the past hour or so that the owners did not take a vote today on expanding the regular season, but they did vote on the scheduling formula that will apply if they ever do vote to expand the regular season. And Charean, here's the best way I can make sense of this. And this repeats something from PFT Live, but it also has another wrinkle to it as well. Argument number one, I think it helps the players buy in if the players want it. And as the players recognize that this is a way to help repair the damage financially from the pandemic, they may warm up to the idea of it and say, we want this because we want the salary cap to be higher. We want more money to flow in next year, and this is a way to do it. You play an extra regular season game. It gives the NFL 16 more total games. 256 goes to 272 before we get to the postseason. The other argument is this, and it was sparked by something Goodell said during the conference call, Charean. The idea that they're currently negotiating with the various networks, the next wave of broadcast contracts, you have to negotiate what people are going to pay for these extra games. So I think it's all part of that same big bundle of money flowing to the NFL. And if you're already negotiating extensions, why not negotiate what will be paid for these extra games? So for those two reasons, I think that's why the NFL is being a little bit coy. I'd be stunned, though, if we don't have 17 regular season games per team next year.
Yeah, Mike, you and I both were on the call. And first of all, I'm glad you did the math on that because I don't know if I could have done it that quickly. So
I'm not sure the math is right. I'm not sure it's right.
Not my
Just act like it's right. Just act like it's right and hope no one double checks your work.
For it. Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. That's exactly right. But Mike, I am wondering, do you think they're waiting to see what the crowd size might be next year, how COVID is going to play out, how the vaccine is going to play out? Does that play any part, you think, in this? I mean, TV makes perfect sense, but how much does it play out with the vaccine and COVID and how the games are going to look next season?
I think you're absolutely right. It's part of the broader analysis of how are we going to repair what happened this year financially with very few fans in the grand scheme of things attending these games. And there's been a thought that the salary cap definitely will drop to $175 million per team. That was the negotiated floor. It won't be any lower than that next year, no matter how much money the NFL loses. But there's a thought, now that the vaccine is being distributed, and given where things may go over the course of the next few months, they may be able to project by February or March, hey, we'll have full stadiums come 2021. That's a different analysis to how much money you're going to make next year to offset the losses from this year. And then I just think time benefits the NFL in a variety of ways. What will the money be next year per game when you factor in attendance? What will the salary cap be, and how can they best negotiate that with the union? And can they make the union want that 17th game so you don't have players complaining all year long like they still do from time to time about Thursday night football? The more the players buy in, the better it is for everyone. And then you throw on top of it the looming broadcast negotiation. And I think it makes sense across the board to wait because there's otherwise no reason. And when it first came up that they may wait, the reason that was given, I think it was a report from Sports Business Daily, was the pandemic has potentially, no, the pandemic itself doesn't make it impractical to play an extra game. They've already proven they can play the whole season or close to it. We don't want to jinx them with 3 weeks left. It's not about the pandemic causing you to not do it. It's about the pandemic making you want to do it more to make back your money.
Yeah, it's always about money, Mike, right? I mean, that's the bottom line is how much money did they lose? That's what we don't know. And how much money can they make back by adding that extra game? And this was not something that was required under the CBA, but it was allowed. And the NFL can choose to do it whatever year they want to do it. The union now doesn't have to approve this. They've agreed to it within the CBA. So the NFL can decide when they're going to do this. And it makes perfect sense that they're waiting. There's no reason today to vote yes on this and say we're adding that extra game. Time is on their side, and they'll use this time to figure out a bunch of things going into 2021.
And one thing that we do know now, and we reported this earlier, because the commissioner hinted at the reality, didn't hint at it, he said they agreed on a formula for the schedule when they go to 17 games. Here's what it will be. And this very quickly becomes complicated. I'll try to make it as simple as possible. Already, every team in any NFL division plays all four teams from another division every year, and it rotates. The Cowboys, for example, as I see the Roger Staubach jersey in the background, they and the other three teams of the NFC East play all four teams from an AFC division. This year, it's all four teams of the AFC North. The Cowboys play all four. Washington plays all four. The Eagles play all four. The Giants play all four. That will continue. The 17th game will be an extra interconference game from one of the other three divisions, and that will also rotate, where first place from the NFC East plays first place from, for example, the AFC South. Second place plays second place. Third place plays third place. Fourth place plays fourth place. And as it works out, without getting too deep into the weeds here, currently the 16-game formula, Charean, has only two games that really hinge on where you finished the prior year. 2 games per year. It's against two other teams in the conference based on where they finish. First place plays the other two first-place teams, and then for the third division, you play all four of them. That's how it rotates in the conference. Those 2 games now get expanded to 3, which is good for the bad teams because, for example, if you're, let's say, the Cowboys, which will be the worst team in the NFC East. Let's say next year the division where you do 1 plays 1, 2 plays 2, et cetera, is the AFC South. The Cowboys get the Jaguars, and the team that wins the division is going to get the Titans or the Colts. So that's one more game where some strength of schedule is built in. So I like that aspect of it, and it is going to give us every year multiple games where division champions are playing division champions, which can be put in prime time, which should be good games, which could be Super Bowl rematches. So I think I like what they're doing with this 17th game.
I love it, Mike. And, you know, you have certain teams that only get to see each other once every 4 years, and that's not enough. I mean, this year, the Cowboys-Steelers game was not what the Cowboys-Steelers game has been, but those two teams have played some great regular season games, and you want to see that more often. And there's a bunch of those games you want to see more often between an NFC team and an AFC team, and we don't get to see that. You know, Tom Brady playing against Aaron Rodgers hasn't happened very much because Tom Brady spent most of his career in the AFC. So all those things are great to see. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of NFC teams against AFC teams. So I absolutely love that that's what they decided to do with this.
I know Peter King and others have been a proponent of something that is more set. So it's every year. Eagles-Steelers every year, or Eagles-Cowboys every year, where you've got a rival from the other conference that you're guaranteed to play every year. Well, what do you do in the year where you're playing all 4 teams from that team's division? Do you play them twice? I think it gets impractical. This will be more of an automatic formula. And there's no guarantee, for example, that the Cowboys and Steelers will face each other other than once every 4 years. But there is a chance now, a 1 in 4 chance, we'll see them twice every 4 years with a guaranteed minimum of once every 4 years. So I like it. It's more football, and it's going to be good teams against good teams, and those good games will likely be standalone that we can enjoy, and hopefully they'll be like the game that we saw on Monday night.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.